You know that feeling, right? You've poured so much energy into your content. Blog posts, social media, emails.
Hmm.
But something just feels off. Like all the pieces are there, but they're not really connecting, not flowing.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
And crucially, not consistently turning strangers into actual customers. It's like having all the parts for this amazing machine, but no blueprint to actually make it work.
Exactly. The connections are missing.
Well, welcome everyone to What Your Content Funnel is Missing Right Now. This deep dive, it's all about handing you that blueprint. We're going to look at transforming your marketing from, those scattered efforts.
Land a max.
Right, into a strategic revenue-generating system, one that intentionally moves prospects from that very first touch point all the way through to a confident purchase.
And what's often overlooked, I think, is that without that clear conversion pathway, even really brilliant content can just become, well, noise. It's just more stuff in an already incredibly crowded marketplace.
That's a really good point, noise versus signal.
Precisely. And this isn't about, manipulation or anything like that. It's about creating genuine value at each stage, but doing it while strategically guiding your audience towards the solutions you offer.
Guiding, not pushing.
Exactly. When you craft it deliberately, your content funnel becomes this asset that works for you around the clock, continuously attracting, nurturing, and ultimately converting.
That's a powerful distinction. So, okay, let's unpack this. When we talk about content failing to convert, what's usually the root cause? Why does so much of it fall flat?
Well, it almost always comes down to a fundamental lack, I'd say, of strategic intention.
Just creating stuff and hoping.
Pretty much. Many businesses create content, and they simply hope for results. But sustainable growth, real growth, it just doesn't happen by chance. It demands a deliberate, mapped-out journey.
Right.
Those random acts of marketing you mentioned, they might get lucky occasionally, sure,
Oh.
but they never deliver predictable, scalable outcomes. Your potential customers, they need more than just information dump.
They need guidance.
They need guidance through a thoughtful path, one that meets them exactly where they are in their own process and, gently leads them where they need to go, towards your solution, hopefully.
So how do we actually start building that thoughtful path? What exactly is a content funnel, especially in today's sort of messy landscape?
Okay, so think of a content funnel as a strategic framework. It's basically a roadmap, right? It guides prospects from that initial awareness stage.
I have a problem.
Exactly, all the way to their final purchase decision.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here, and I think often underestimated, is how buyers move through that funnel today. It's not what it used to be.
How so?
Well, research from Gartner, for example, shows buyers spend only about 17% of their decision-making process actually meeting with suppliers.
Only 17%. Wow.
Yeah, and LinkedIn reports suggest up to 90% of that process is spent on self-education. They're out there learning on their own.
So they're doing most of the work before they even talk to you.
Precisely, which highlights why your content and how you map it out is absolutely critical. Your audience is consuming information constantly, whether it's yours or your competitors.
Okay, so the funnel delivers the right info at the right time. But you said it's not that neat linear path we once imagined.
Exactly right. Today's buyers, they don't move in a straight line.
Yeah.
Not at all. They hop between stages. They revisit content they saw earlier. They consume stuff across multiple channels.
Like a pinball machine sometimes.
Kind of, yeah. The traditional structure, awareness, interest, consideration, decision, it still provides a really valuable framework. It gives us anchor points, but we absolutely have to interpret it through the lens of modern digital behavior.
Can you walk us through those stages again, briefly?
Sure. So at awareness, the buyer realizes, okay, I have a problem that needs solving. Pretty simple.
Got it.
Then during interest, they start thinking, I'm exploring possible solutions. What's out there?
Or looking around.
Yep. Then in consideration, they're actively comparing specific options and vendors, getting more serious.
Narrowing it down.
Exactly. And finally, at the decision stage, they're really focused on justifying my choice and preparing to actually purchase. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's.
Oh, okay. Could you give us a quick example of how that nonlinear journey might look in practice?
Certainly. Let's imagine a marketing director. Okay? She's struggling with managing campaigns efficiently.
Okay.
Her journey might start just by her scrolling LinkedIn and seeing a post about marketing inefficiencies. That sparks awareness. She then clicks through to maybe a blog post about different automation tools. Now she's showing interest.
Makes sense.
But then maybe she jumps straight to your pricing page way down the funnel. Then she might bounce back and download a guide comparing different platforms, revisiting consideration, before finally circling back to watch a product demo, which is firmly in the decision stage.
Eh? All over the place.
Exactly.
It's messy.
So given that messiness, where do prospects most often, leak out of this funnel? Where do we lose them? Good question. Often it's because there's a lack of clarity between those stages. Or maybe there's missing information at a critical moment when they need it.
Or you're not answering their new questions as they learn more.
Precisely. Their questions evolve. And this is where the concepts of 2FU, MOFU, and BOFU really come into play.
Like the acronyms. Top, middle, bottom of funnel.
Yep. They represent distinct stages with very specific objectives and, importantly, specific content needs.
Okay, break those down. TOFU.
So 2FU, top of funnel, that's your awareness stage.
Sure.
The content here needs to be educational, helpful, designed to build awareness without being overtly promotional. You're not selling yet.
What do you measure there? Traffic.
Yeah. Key performance indicators or KPIs you track are things like traffic volume, maybe social engagement, reach.
Got it. MOFU.
MOFU. Middle of funnel, this aligns with the interest and consideration stages. Here, the content gets more specific. Think guides, webinars, comparison articles, stuff that helps prospects evaluate potential solutions.
And the KPIs change.
They do. Here you're looking for things like email signups, content downloads, clear signals of deeper engagement.
Okay, and finally, BOFU.
BOFU, bottom of funnel. This is the decision stage. This requires proof-driven content, things like demos, customer testimonials, detailed implementation guides, content that helps prospects choose you as the vendor.
And the KPIs are obvious here, I guess.
Pretty much. Demo requests, free trial signups, and ultimately purchases. The real bottom line stuff.
So it really is about delivering the right message in the right format at the right time. It's not just about creating more content.
Not at all. Quality and relevance over sheer quantity, always.
Designing this kind of roadmap, it sounds like it requires a very specific approach then. You can't just wing it.
You really can't. And actually, the most effective way to build this is often to work backward.
Backward? How so?
Start with your end goal, usually a revenue target. Then define your ideal buyer persona. Who are you actually trying to reach? Then establish clear KPIs for each stage of their journey. Then take stock inventory your existing content and map it to those stages.
Ah, so you see where the gaps are.
Exactly. That's the crucial step. Identify and prioritize the content gaps.
Yeah.
You might find you have, say, lots of traffic but no trust. That's strong TOFU, weak MOFU.
Or maybe lots of downloads but no demos.
Right. That's trust but no trigger. Yeah. Solid MOFU but weak BOFU. Or the classic all blog, no conversion pattern. Tons of awareness content. Nothing for the decision stage.
Can that really make a big difference, filling those gaps?
Huge. There was an online education company, right? They had 50,000 monthly blog visitors, great TOFU traffic. But they realized they had zero comparison guides for people evaluating options.
Ah, MOFU gap.
Big one. After they created those guides, their free trial conversion rate jumped from 2.3% to 3.8% in just 90 days.
Wow, that's a 65% improvement.
Just by filling one critical gap.
That's a remarkable shift. So the content strategy, it really is like a conversation that gets more and more specific as the prospect moves deeper.
Precisely. And you have to remember that different buyer personas might need different paths through that conversation.
Right, like a technical buyer versus a finance person.
Exactly. The tech buyer probably wants in-depth specs, data sheets. The finance decision maker. They're likely prioritizing ROI calculations, case studies showing financial impact. Your content map needs to accommodate these parallel journeys.
Okay, so here's a challenge for you listening today. Try drafting a simple one-page funnel map. Just list out your stages, think about the content types for each, and honestly identify your most urgent gaps. It's a really powerful first step.
Really is. Just getting it down on paper.
Now, what often seems like the most overlooked piece in designing this whole funnel is truly understanding who you're talking to, knowing your audience deeply.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just important, it's the absolute foundation. Get this wrong. And the whole funnel, well, it pretty much collapses.
And a lot of businesses build these personas based on guesses.
Often, yes. Assumptions. But real, actionable buyer understanding comes from combining two things: quantitative signals, seeing what people actually do on your site, with your content.
The analytics.
Right. And qualitative insights, understanding why they do it. You need both.
Can you give an example of that why making a difference?
Sure. I know a software startup whose conversion rates literally tripled after they reframed their content using actual customer language.
What changed?
They initially called their product a productivity enhancement tool. But through interviews, they learned customers consistently referred to it as a compliance safety net. Totally different focus.
Wow, that's a big shift in
It's
perspective.
huge. Another example, a manufacturing software company thought customers cared most about reducing costs. But interviews revealed the primary concern was actually reducing downtime. Costs were secondary.
So while your existing data, your CRM, your marketing automation, web analytics that shows you patterns, right? It tells you what happened. It's the conversations with real people that reveal why it happened.
Exactly. You have to talk to your customers. Seriously, pick up the phone, get on Zoom, ask them things like, what actually triggered your search in the first place? What other options did you consider? Was there anything that almost stopped you from choosing us? How do you personally measure success with this kind of solution?
Goldmine question.
Absolute goldmine. Their answers transform your content from generic marketing speak into something magnetic, something that resonates because it uses their language. I remember a healthcare IT manager saying, look, I just need this system to play nice with our ancient legacy software. Everything else is just fancy features I don't need.
That's raw, real language.
Exactly. And that's what cuts through. Don't forget other sources, too. Sales call recordings are amazing for hearing objections in real time. Support tickets show pain points in terminology. Community forums, unfiltered language. Review sites often reveal the exact criteria people use for comparison.
Okay, so you gather all this intel. How do you turn it into something actionable, like those personas?
Right, you synthesize it. Aim for maybe 2 to 5 core, actionable personas. And please, don't just list demographics like age and job title. That's not enough.
Go deeper.
Much deeper. Give them real psychological insights. For example, don't just say marketing director 3545. Say marketing director Melissa, overwhelmed by data fragmentation, measures her success by pipeline contribution and strongly prefers case studies from similar-sized companies in her industry when she's evaluating solutions. See the difference?
Yeah, much richer. You can almost picture her.
And to build even richer personas, you can explore things like what they see, think, feel, and do in their day-to-day. And crucially, identify their jobs to be done, or JTBD.
Jobs to be done. Explain that.
It's a framework that focuses on the progress a person is trying to make in a specific circumstance. What job are they hiring your product or service to do for them? It shifts focus from static attributes to dynamic outcomes and motivations.
Interesting. Okay, so you've defined these rich personas. How do you actually activate them in your content creation process?
It needs to be embedded right into the workflow. Every single content brief should include specific persona-driven elements.
Like what?
Things like, who is the primary persona for this specific piece of content? What funnel stage are they likely in? What are their key questions right now that this content must answer? What specific pain points should we acknowledge? Are there specific language patterns or phrases they use that we should mirror? What objections are they likely to have? And what kind of proof points will resonate most strongly with them?
Wow, that's detailed guidance for the writer.
It transforms the output. Generic content becomes genuinely persuasive. I saw a cybersecurity firm, right? They double their engagement rates simply by removing all the marketing superlatives, best in class, revolutionary, and focusing purely on technical specifications.
Why?
Because their technical audience deeply distrusted marketing hype. They just wanted the facts. Another company boosted click-throughs by 38% just by tuning the button text from request a demo to see how it works.
Where did see how it works come from?
Directly from customer interviews. That's how customers talked about wanting to understand the product.
This sounds like it does more than just improve content. It sounds like it aligns teams.
It absolutely does. Deep persona work is fantastic for unifying marketing, sales, and even product teams. I heard one sales director say, marketing's content now perfectly tees up the exact conversations our sales team actually wants to have.
And the result?
They shorten their average sales cycle by 22% just by getting everything on the same page about the customer.
Okay, powerful stuff. Here's another challenge for you listening. Schedule just 2 customer interviews this week. Try drafting one skeleton persona based purely on the language they use. Share it with your team. See how quickly it sharpens your content's focus and effectiveness.
Do it. You'll be amazed.
All right, so we've mapped the funnel. We've got crystal clear personas. Now the mission is to actually attract those qualified prospects. Sparking curiosity, right? Especially at the top of the funnel, TOFU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too few prospects, remember, they're problem aware, but they haven't really committed to finding a solution yet, let alone your solution. So your content has to meet them right there at that zero commitment moment.
Meaning no pressure.
Zero pressure. Too Few content really has 4 main jobs. First, stop the scroll, grab their attention. Second, teach them why the problem they're vaguely aware of actually matters. Third, connect those surface-level challenges to their deeper goals or aspirations. And fourth, provide a super low-pressure way for them to learn just a little bit more.
That curiosity gap idea.
Precisely. You create that gap, make them want to know more, especially when it's aligned with their job to be done. Remember that financial software vendor?
That one who changed the messaging.
Yeah. They initially focused on time savings, but interviews showed the deeper driver was confidence in reporting accuracy. When they reframed Two of You content around building that confidence, engagement soared.
And the metrics at Two of You said, aren't about leads yet.
Not primarily. You're looking for attention signals. Are you reaching the right audience? So, impressions targeted at your ICP. Are they clicking through? What's the click-through rate? Are they coming back? Return visitors are a great sign. And are you seeing a lift in branded search queries over time? That shows growing awareness.
Okay, so how do you actually engineer those magnetic ideas for 2FU content? Where do they come from?
The best place to start is by reverse engineering from your persona's actual language about their pains, frustrations, and aspirations. Then try these 3 methods.
Okay, method 1.
The pain point flip. Take a common frustration your persona expresses and flip it into an unexpected solution or angle. So if they struggle with proving marketing ROI to the CEO, maybe your title is the 3-slide framework that finally made our CEO care about marketing ROI.
Intriguing. Method 2.
The unexpected data reveal. Lead with a surprising statistic that challenges conventional wisdom. Something like, did you know 67% of successful SaaS implementations actually skip this standard step?
Makes you want to know what the step is. Okay, third.
The narrative teardown. Take a well-known story, event, or concept in your industry and analyze it for counterintuitive lessons or hidden insights relevant to your audience.
So using familiar things in a new way. You mentioned a software vendor who tripled traffic with a title change.
Yeah, that was a great example of the pain point flip. Their original title was super feature-focused, introducing advanced segmentation tools. Yawn, they've changed it to how we stop sending the wrong content to 54% of our database. Much more compelling because it addresses a specific pain.
Definitely. And it's not just the idea, it's the format and channel too, right? Matching it to how people discover info.
Oh, absolutely critical. Blogs and SEO. You need those pillar pages and topic clusters, lots of internal linking to create pathways for deeper exploration.
Social media.
Totally different. You need visual thumb stoppers. Things like carousels that deliver a complete piece of value right there in the feed because people might not click away.
Short form video.
Got to grab attention immediately. Pattern interruption in the first second. And assume sound-off subtitles are essential. Stats show like 85% is watched without sound.
Email nurture.
Email's great for 2FU too, but it should deliver unexpected value. Maybe a mini course dripped out over a few days, something that builds authority. And always have those bridge tactics, like content upgrades within blog posts, to gently nudge people towards the next stage, towards MOFU.
Okay, so you've sparked that initial curiosity with great 2FU content. How do you then nurture that spark into real trust in the middle of the funnel, the MOFU stage?
Right. MOFU is where you convert that initial interest into genuine belief. Remember, most website visitors leave without buying anything, so this stage is absolutely critical for holding on to them and building that relationship.
How do you do that? Lead magnets.
Lead magnets are key, yes, but they have to deliver instant, tangible value and subtly show how your type of solution fits their emerging needs. They work to pre-qualify prospects and people who download it are showing interest while also pre-framing your approach, but without a hard sell.
What kind of formats work well here?
Lots of options. Ebooks, checklists, templates they can use, interactive calculators like ROI calculators, mini courses, assessment quizzes, detailed playbooks. That sauce company I mentioned, they doubled their marketing qualified lead, their MQL volume, using an ROI calculator. It projected savings and neatly filtered out prospects who weren't a good fit based on their inputs.
Smart. What else works well in MOFU?
Live experiences are powerful. Things like webinars and interactive workshops. They accelerate trust like crazy because people see you, hear you, can ask questions in real time. It demonstrates authenticity and provides social proof.
Got an example?
Yeah, a cybersecurity vendor really turned their pipeline around with monthly workshops. They structured them carefully. 20 minutes of pure education, then a focused 15-minute demo, followed by a long 25-minute guided Q&A session.
And the results?
Demo requests jump by 42%. They also cleverly use what they call the objection sandwich during the Q&A, proactively bringing up and addressing common concerns before people even asked. Builds huge credibility.
And email sequences. Still important.
Absolutely crucial, especially in B2B, where prospects need multiple touchpoints. A simple but effective 5-email trust-building sequence could look like this. First, a welcome email delivering the lead magnet plus a quick win. Second, a deep dive resource email going further on the topic. Third, a relevant customer story or case study. Fourth, an objection buster email tackling a common concern. And finally, fifth, a soft conversion invite maybe to the webinar or a consultation, not necessarily a hard sell yet.
And you can make those sequences smarter, right?
Definitely. Use progressive profiling on your forms to gather more info over time, and behavioral branching in your automation. Send different emails based on what links they click or pages they visit. Keep it relevant.
Okay, that's a lot for MOFU. Here's your next challenge, listeners. Audit one of your existing MOFU assets this week. Ask yourself honestly, does it genuinely teach something valuable? Does it proactively address likely objections? And does it clearly guide the prospect to the next logical step? If not, time to rewrite or replace it.
Good challenge. Be critical.
All right, we've sparked curiosity at the top. We've nurtured trust in the middle. Now we're at the sharp end, the bottom of the funnel, BOFU. This is where the deals actually get sealed, right?
This is the moment of truth. At BOFU, prospects know their problem, they understand the solutions, and they've likely narrowed down their options to just a few vendors, including, hopefully, you. And data backs this up. Shopify found 71% of B2B buyers rely heavily on vendor demos and free trials in their final research phase.
So what's critical here? Frictionless conversion.
Absolutely. First things first. Friction-free conversion pages. Your demo request page, your trial sign-up page, your contact page, they must reduce anxiety, clearly spotlight the value of taking the next step, and provide one single obvious path forward.
Any examples of getting this wrong and then right?
Oh yeah. A data analytics firm had a demo page that was converting at a dismal 4%. They simplified it massively, removed the main site navigation, focused the copy on just 3 key outcomes, dramatically shortened the form. Conversion jumped to 11%, almost tripled it.
Wow. So what are the key elements of a high-converting BOFU page?
Okay, think. Super specific headline that mirrors their goal. Clear articulation of emotional benefits, not just features. Concise value bullets. Strong credibility signals, logos of known clients. Some form of risk reversal if possible. A single unmissable call to action button. And maybe streamlined FAQs to handle last-minute questions right there.
What about people who aren't quite ready for the full demo or trial?
Great point. Use micro-conversions. Things like live chat widgets or exit intent pop-ups offering something less committal, like save this comparison for later or email me this case study. One company added a simple got a quick question button that opened a short form, increased leads by 34% from people not ready for the full demo.
Okay, besides the page itself, you need to prove value.
You have to prove value beyond any doubt. This is where your best assets come in. Compelling product demos, relatable customer testimonials and case studies, those ROI calculators we mentioned, free trials or pilots.
Let's talk demos. How do you make them effective, not just feature tours?
A great demo follows a narrative structure. I like the Teach, Tease, Transfer framework. It becomes a story in 3 acts. Act 1 is context, deeply understanding and reflecting the prospect's specific situation and challenges. Act 2 is conflict, showing the pains and limitations of their current state. Act 3 is resolution, demonstrating clearly how your solution resolves those specific pains and helps them achieve their goals.
Tailoring is key then.
Massively. That beta security film I mentioned, they increased their demo to close rates by 42% simply by customizing every single presentation based on answers from a mandatory pre-demo questionnaire. No more generic demos.
And social proof placement matters too.
Big time. Don't just bury testimonials on a separate page. Put relevant ones right where decisions are made. One company saw a 28% conversion lift just by adding relevant video testimonials directly onto their pricing page.
So optimizing that last mile, the actual decision point, is crucial.
It really is. Think about risk reversal. Can you offer a money-back guarantee, a short paid pilot project? These address the inherent fear of making the wrong choice.
Paid pilots, do they work?
They can be very effective. A B2B service firm introduced a 30-day paid pilot. Their sales cycles actually shortened by 20% because prospects felt less risk, and 85% of those pilots converted into full long-term contracts.
So creating respectful urgency.
Yeah, ethical momentum builders, things like limited implementation slots for the next cohort or early bird pricing for an annual plan. It creates a respectful pathway to making a decision without being overly pushy.
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, that marketing to sales handoff needs to be seamless. Sales needs the full history of the prospect's engagement, and follow-up needs to be immediate.
Makes sense. But even the best BOFU content, the best funnel, it fails if nobody sees it. Let's talk distribution.
So important. It's shocking how many valuable B2B content assets get created and then receive hardly any views. Distribution cannot be an afterthought. It has to be baked in from the start.
How do you approach it strategically?
First, align your channels to your funnel stage. TOFU content needs broad reach. Think organic seeds like SEO, social media discovery. MOFU needs channels that facilitate deeper engagement, email nurture, targeted LinkedIn groups, maybe retargeting ads. BOFU content needs to be discoverable when people are actively comparing Think product pages, optimized for search, comparison sites, case studies shared by sales.
And paid advertising.
Use paid precision for speed, scale, or reaching very specific niches. A good rule of thumb for budget allocation could be 70% on channels, work based on data, 20% on calculated experiments with new channels or tactics, and maybe 10% on a moonshot, something totally new.
How do you target effectively with paid?
Get granular. Use at least 5 layers of targeting filters if you can. Things like job title, firmographics, company size, industry, intent data, signals they're actively researching solutions like yours, remarketing, showing ads to people who visited specific pages, and lookalike audiences, finding people similar to your best existing customers.
And the ad creative itself.
Content-first creative is key. Lead with the promise or the pain point you solve, not just your product features. Use dynamic personalization where possible. Imagine seeing an ad headline using the exact phrase you typed into Google. Much more effective than "Our platform offers advanced analytics dashboards." Think. See how 3 mid-sized manufacturers like yours reduced forecasting errors by 43%.
Specificity wins.
Always.
What about partnerships and getting momentum?
Absolutely. Build those flywheels. Borrow credibility by collaborating with industry influencers or analysts. Co-market with companies offering complementary, non-competing solutions. And have an amplification SOP, a standard operating procedure. When a major piece of content goes live, that SOP should trigger promotion across all relevant channels within, say, 48 hours. And a quick tip on measurement here. Track qualified eyeballs. That means impressions delivered specifically to your ideal customer profile, not just raw, untargeted impressions. And please, use UTM parameters on all your links. It's essential for attribution, for actually knowing which channels are driving results.
Okay, another challenge for everyone listening. Pick your single strongest content asset today, just one, and create a quick micro plan to give it the distribution it actually deserves. Maybe select one new channel you haven't tried for it, set a clear KPI, and just test it.
Small test, big potential learning.
All right, we've covered a lot. Mapping the funnel, personas, TOFU, MOFU, BFU, FU, distribution. But you know the saying, what gets measured gets managed. Your content funnel isn't some static monument you build once. It's a living machine, right? Needs constant tuning.
Constant tuning is exactly right. And your metrics should absolutely drive your decisions. The key is to select metrics that reveal both lagging indicators, things that tell you about past performance, like closed revenue.
What already happened?
Right. And leading indicators, those early warning signs that predict future outcomes, like the number of qualified demo registrations this week, or the conversion rate on a key landing page.
Can you give an example of focusing on the wrong metric?
Sure. A SaaS marketing director I know was obsessed with overall website traffic volume. Huge numbers. But their actual sales weren't reflecting it.
So what was wrong?
They realized the problem wasn't traffic volume, it was traffic fit. When they switched their primary metric to track the conversion rate of traffic to marketing qualified leads, MQLs, they saw the real issue. Most of the traffic wasn't relevant. That changed their entire content and distribution strategy.
So you need a unified view.
Ideally, yes. Your dashboard should try to integrate data from your CRM, your marketing automation platform, MAP, and your website analytics. You want to see the flow. Key metrics to watch include qualified traffic percentage, the MQL to SQL conversion rate, the SQL to opportunity rate, your overall win rate, and maybe your customer acquisition cost payback period.
Every funnel leaks somewhere, doesn't it? The trick is finding the biggest leaks, the ones costing you the most potential revenue. As Deming famously said, without data, you're just another person with an opinion.
Couldn't agree more. And track both the big conversions, macro conversions like demo requests or purchases, and the small steps along the way, micro conversions. Things like watching an embedded video to 75%, scrolling down a long sales page, clicking to expand an FAQ?
Why track those small things?
Because those micrometrics often predict later macro behavior. Someone who watches your whole demo video is probably more likely to convert later. And when you're deciding which leaks to fix first, use a simple prioritization framework like ICE.
I see.
Impact times confidence times ease. How big an impact will fixing this leak likely have? How confident are we that our proposed fix will actually work? And how easy is it to implement the fix? Multiply those scores, say 1 to 5 for each, and tackle the highest ICE score first.
Smart way to prioritize. Any examples of fixing a leak with ICE?
Yeah, a SaaS company noticed a huge drop-off between blog subscribers, TOFU, and people signing up for their webinar, MOFU. The leak was massive, like 78% drop-off. They hypothesized that a simple bridge email sequence, specifically for blog subscribers, inviting them to the webinar and highlighting its relevance, would help. It scored high on impact, big leak, high on confidence, logical fix, and medium on ease. Just needed email copy and automation setup.
It worked.
It cut the TOFU to MOFU drop-off from 78% down to 54%, a huge improvement, guided by ICE.
So how do you diagnose leaks systematically?
Have a checklist, maybe something like 1. Export the stage-to-stage conversion data. 2. Benchmark it against industry averages if you can. 3. Segment the data. Does one persona group drop off more? 4. Hypothesize potential causes for the biggest leaks. 5. Gather qualitative feedback. Use heat maps, session recordings, or even quick polls on the drop-off pages. 6. Then score the potential fixes using ICE or a similar framework.
Okay, once leaks are identified and prioritized, it's time to actually fix them, right? Through experiments.
Exactly. Design specific experiments. And each test needs a crystal clear hypothesis, linking a specific change you're making to a measurable outcome you expect.
What goes into a good experiment plan?
You need about 7 critical elements. First, the hypothesis itself. Changing the BOFU headline from feature-focused to benefit-led will increase demo request conversions because. Second, the primary KPI you'll measure. FEAR-G demo request form submission rate. Third, the specific variance you'll test against the control. Fourth, the sample size needed to get statistically significant results. Fifth, the planned runtime for the experiment. Sixth, a clear decision rule. If variant B beats control by 15% with 95% confidence, we implement B. And seventh, the defined next step based on the outcome.
Got an example of a successful experiment based on this?
That B2B tech provider I mentioned earlier, they ran an experiment changing their BOFU page headline. The control was feature-focused. The variant was benefit-led based on customer language around their job to be done. Closed deals 37% faster with AI-powered proposals.
And the result?
The benefit-led variant increased conversion to demo by 19%. Clear win, driven by a solid hypothesis rooted in customer understanding.
It sounds like the companies that really succeed with this transform measurement from a reporting function into an ongoing growth engine.
That's the goal. It's not just about looking at dashboards, it's about action. Set a regular cadence, maybe weekly or bi-weekly dedicated time to review metrics and launch new experiments. Document all your test results, wins and losses in a shared win library so the whole team learns. Set up automated alerts for significant deviations in key metrics so you spot problems fast.
So it becomes a continuous discipline, not a one-off project.
Exactly. It's that B2B content funnel optimization cycle in action. You course correct based on data. You set a cadence for review. You review the metrics. You diagnose the issues, leaks. You launch experiments. You document the results. You automate alerts. You constantly connect it all back to revenue impact. And you continually validate and refine your personas based on what you're learning. It's a loop.
A virtuous cycle, hopefully. Okay, here's your final challenge for today. Pick just one metric you want to improve. Identify one potential leak related to it, and design one simple test or fix. Schedule it, run it, and close that loop. Start the cycle.
Small steps build momentum.
Absolutely. So wrapping up, what we've really explored today is that your content funnel isn't just some static marketing asset you build and forget. It's a dynamic, living revenue engine. It's all about building that strategic system, knowing your audience incredibly deeply, sparking that initial curiosity, building genuine trust, and then sealing the deal using data-driven optimization.
Yeah, and the organizations that truly thrive, they don't just build funnels, they are continuously refining them. They adapt based on changing customer needs, shifts in the competitive landscape, new technological capabilities. It reminds me of that W. Edwards Deming quote.
Which one?
Learning is not compulsory, neither is survival. It's a bit stark, but it applies here. You have to keep learning and adapting your funnel.
It's a great point. So what does this all mean for you listening? I think it means the difference between average and truly exceptional content marketing, it rarely lies in just creative brilliance alone.
Mhm.
More often, it's in the systematic measurement and optimization that turns those good ideas into consistently great results.
Well said. Systematize the improvement.
So go out there, take one step, and start refining your funnel today. Your revenue engine will definitely thank you for it.
Are you attracting thousands, maybe tens of thousands of visitors to your website? Maybe hosting fantastic webinars, pouring effort into content creation, but finding those efforts just aren't consistently translating into actual customers. If your conversion rates feel, well, stuck, you are absolutely not alone. It's a really common challenge, actually.
It really is.
And it often comes down to those final crucial steps in your customer's journey.
Exactly.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that is absolutely critical for turning all that hard-earned traffic into tangible revenue. We're talking about optimizing your bottom-of-funnel conversion pages.
Right, the pointy end of the funnel.
This is truly where deals are won or lost, and we're calling this deep dive Conversion Rates Stuck. Try this page redesign strategy.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how many businesses, they really excel at the top and middle of the funnel, drawing people in with great content, educating them, building that
They
awareness,
do that part so well.
only to see prospects hesitate right at this final sort of decisive stage. So this deep dive is all about giving you a practical roadmap, really, to master that moment.
Yeah, turning those hesitant prospects into confident customers who are ready to, take action.
Precisely.
I think that's such a crucial point. It's not just about getting people to the page, it's getting them through it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the core challenge.
So as we unpack this, we'll be focusing on three powerful pillars that are really key to boosting those conversion numbers.
Ah.
First up, we'll talk about designing truly friction-free conversion pages.
Okay.
Second, we'll explore how to provide just undeniable proof of value. That's crucial. Proof. And finally, we'll discuss optimizing that critical last mile of the customer journey, along with, importantly, how to effectively measure your success.
Right, because you need to know if it's working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about small tweaks here and there. It's really about a strategic redesign that can dramatically increase your conversion rates and ultimately accelerate your sales cycle.
Which is what everyone wants, right? Faster sales.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off with that first pillar. Creating conversion pages that are, well, utterly friction-free.
Oh, okay.
When you think about a bottom-of-funnel page, its mission is incredibly singular, isn't it? It's to reduce any lingering worry, spotlight your value with crystal clarity, and provide a super obvious next step.
Just one next step, ideally.
Right. But what's the biggest enemy of that mission?
Well, the biggest obstacle to conversion, it's almost always distraction.
Distraction, yeah.
And what's often counterintuitive about friction is that even seemingly helpful elements, like, say, a full site navigation bar or social share icons, they can actually act as escape hatches on a conversion page.
Escape hatches, I like that.
Yeah, they divert attention right at the critical moment.
That's a great way to put it. So the true insight here is that at the bottom of the funnel, every option that isn't the core conversion goal is, well, it's a potential distraction.
Exactly, it's pulling focus.
So the most successful pages are, frankly, ruthless about eliminating anything that doesn't directly support the conversion.
Ruthless is the word.
We're talking about stripping away site-wide navigation, getting rid of unnecessary links that could lead prospects away.
Even if they're good links elsewhere.
Right. Simplifying your messaging down to just the most compelling benefits and, crucially, reducing form fields to the absolute minimum required.
We've seen this strategy work wonders. I mean, for instance, there was a data analytics firm. They were really struggling with their demo page conversion rate. It was hovering around like 4%.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, not great. But by ruthlessly simplifying their design, they highlighted just 3 key customer outcomes instead of, I think it was 8 features they had listed.
Big difference.
And they cut their form length in half. Just doing that, they nearly tripled that rate, jumped up to 11%.
From 4% to 11%?
Yeah. That single change dramatically impacted their pipeline pretty much overnight. It's a powerful lesson in less being more,
It really is. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So for you listening, a concrete first step could be to just audit your current conversion page.
Yeah, take a hard look.
Count every single element that doesn't directly contribute to the conversion action. All those extra nav links, social media icons, secondary offers, everything. Then maybe create a simplified version, test it against your current page for, let's say, 30 days. and just see what happens.
A simple A/B test. It can be really revealing.
Definitely. Now, beyond stripping away the distractions, we need to actually craft compelling page elements. Each part of your page shouldn't just present information. It needs to trigger a specific psychological response.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about speaking directly to the prospect's deep-seated needs and concerns at that moment.
Okay.
Take headlines, for example. Instead of something generic like, schedule a demo of our platform, which is very feature-focused.
We see those all the time.
All the time. Think outcomes. A far more effective headline might be something like, see how you can reduce production errors by 37% in 90 days.
Ah, okay. Specific, measurable, time-bound.
Exactly. It speaks directly to a specific, measurable, and time-bound outcome. Your headline should promise clear outcomes. The formula is pretty simple. Specific outcome plus time frame plus for your type of business.
That focus on the after scenario, it really shifts the mindset, doesn't it? It reminds me how powerful storytelling is, even on a conversion page.
Absolutely.
So beyond the headlines, how else can this after perspective be woven throughout the rest of the content?
Well, it's not just about listing benefits. It's about painting a really vivid picture of that after state.
Right, what life looks like with the solution.
Precisely. Your content should be intensely benefit-focused, using the second person you and your to emphasize that transformation for them, and crucially, include actual metrics whenever possible.
Metrics make it real.
They do, and your visuals, your hero images, they should reinforce this by showing results in action, maybe real people using your solution, or even powerful before and after comparisons, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And similarly, replace those, dry, feature-focused bullet points with outcome-focused statements instead of AI-powered analytics dashboard.
Which sounds cool, but what does it do?
Exactly. So something like identify cost-saving opportunities in minutes, not weeks. The key formula here is kind of action verb plus specific benefit plus unique advantage.
That's a fantastic framework for thinking about every single element. It brings us to a really helpful concept. We call it element trigger alignment. Could you walk us through how different page elements should align with specific psychological triggers?
Sure. Yeah, it's about making sure each element has a specific job to do psychologically.
Right.
So, your headline, for instance, its job is to trigger problem recognition. So it needs to be specific and outcome-focused, like we just discussed.
Got it.
Your social proof, those testimonials or trust badges, their job is to reduce fear and build credibility. So they need to be prominently placed, ideally above the fold.
Makes sense. See it right away.
Exactly. Your form, well, that represents a commitment, right? So it needs only the essential fields. Keep it short, ideally 3 to 5 maximum.
Minimize that friction.
Minimize the ask. Your call to action, the CTA button, its job is to trigger an action bias. So it needs a high contrast color, make it stand out, and use a clear action verb.
Like get started or see my results.
Perfect. And finally, your risk reversal, the guarantee or trial offer that addresses loss aversion. So it needs to be clear, concise, and ideally also visible without scrolling above the fold.
That makes perfect sense. It's like guiding the user psychologically through the decision. Now, as we unpack the sources, one fascinating area that keeps coming up in reducing friction is this idea of micro-conversions.
Ah.
It's a subtle shift, maybe, but it seems highly effective.
It really is. Strategic micro-conversions, they capture intent without forcing a full commitment right away. Because let's face it, not every visitor is ready for the big buy now or schedule a demo on their first visit.
Or even their second or third.
Exactly. So think about things like chat widgets that are programmed to proactively engage after someone scrolls a certain amount or spends a certain time on the page.
Okay.
Or those exit intent pop-ups that trigger when someone looks like they're about to leave, offering maybe a lighter alternative like a relevant checklist or a guide instead of immediately pushing for the demo.
Right, a softer ask.
Yeah.
And things like save for later options or maybe quick question buttons. Those seem brilliant for low commitment engagement.
They really are.
I remember reading about a manufacturing solutions provider who added just a simple quick question button right next to their main demo form.
Okay.
And that simple micro conversion captured 34% more leads that eventually converted to customers after some nurturing.
Wow, 34%. That's huge. It's
Wow.
truly about building those smaller trust-building bridges, isn't it?
It really seems to be.
Precisely. So for you listening, consider adding maybe a chat widget or an exit intent pop-up, maybe a quick question option, or even a save email this page feature. These are relatively small steps that can yield surprisingly big results in just expanding your lead pipeline.
Great suggestions. Okay, moving on to our second pillar now. Proving value beyond any doubt. At the bottom of the funnel, prospects aren't just looking for information anymore. They need tangible, undeniable proof that your solution will solve their specific problem.
That's right. The stakes are higher here. Different prospects have different lingering objections, different doubts. And the key is to match your proof assets, your evidence, to those specific concerns.
Okay, so tailoring the proof.
Exactly. A product demo, for instance, that answers the question, will it actually work for me? That belongs front and center on your main conversion page.
Makes sense.
A customer testimonial that answers, has it worked for others like me? That's really powerful near pricing information.
Right, justifies the cost.
A case study addresses, has it worked specifically in my industry? That's ideal for industry-specific landing pages. An ROI calculator answers, is it really worth the investment? Put that on pages related to budget justification.
Got it.
And maybe a free trial or proof of concept that answers, will it work for my very specific use case? That belongs on product-focused pages. It's really about anticipating all those what-ifs.
That makes so much sense. It's truly about anticipating every what-if and addressing them head-on with the right kind of evidence. It's like preempting objections.
Exactly.
And when it comes to product demos, what's maybe one common mistake businesses make when showcasing their products? Something that actually hinders conversion rather than helping it.
Oh, a really common pitfall is just showing off features, almost like giving a product tour. Here's button A, here's menu B.
The feature dump.
The feature dump, exactly. The most effective demos, they don't just showcase features, they follow a kind of three-act narrative structure that solves a problem for that specific prospect.
Okay, a narrative structure. Tell me more.
Well, first, you establish the prospect's context and their specific challenges. You show you understand their world.
Act 1, the setup.
Right. Second, you highlight the conflict, the specific problems your solution addresses for them.
Act 2, the confrontation.
Exactly. And finally, Act 3 is the resolution, showing your solution in action, but focusing intensely on the outcomes it delivers for them, not just the capabilities.
Outcomes over features.
Yeah.
That's key. And personalization is absolutely critical here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Before the demo even begins, collecting information at things like their specific industry challenges, what tools they're using now, their priority outcomes, who the key stakeholders are that allows you to truly customize the presentation.
So doing your homework beforehand.
Huge difference. There was a data security firm, they saw their demo to close rates jump by 42% just by implementing a simple pre-demo questionnaire.
42%.
Yep. They were able to customize each presentation to the prospect's specific industry, their compliance needs, the unique threats they faced. It's all about making it undeniably relevant to them. Generic demos, well, they lead to generic results.
That's powerful. This leads us naturally to interactive proof tools, which sound incredibly powerful. How do those help exactly?
They're great because they transform abstract benefits into concrete personalized outcomes right before the prospect's eyes. ROI calculators are a prime example.
Okay. How do you build a good one?
Well, first, identify maybe 3 to 5 key metrics. Your solution improves, maybe it's time saved, revenue increased, cost reduced, whatever it is. Then create a simple form for them to input their current baseline numbers.
Right. Their before picture.
Exactly. Then the tool shows clear before and after comparisons and projections based on their input. The key is don't make it overly complex. 3 to 5 inputs max is usually enough to generate really compelling results without being overwhelming.
Keep it simple. Keep it impactful.
Yeah.
And free trials or proof of concept implementations, they're similar, right? They need to deliver quick wins.
Yes, absolutely. You need to structure the onboarding to get prospects to one meaningful result fast. Don't try to show them everything at once.
You get them to the aha moment quickly.
Exactly. Provide clear guidance, maybe build in some feedback loops, definitely celebrate their first win, however small, and then show how that initial success scales up to broader outcomes. It's all about helping them experience that aha moment where they truly see the value for themselves rather than just hearing you talk about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the power of social proof. Testimonials, we mentioned them briefly, but they aren't just feel-good quotes, are they? They're really strategic assets.
Absolutely. And video testimonials are particularly impactful
Why video specifically?
because they add a layer of authenticity through expression and tone that simple text just can't replicate. You see the person, you hear their voice.
Right, builds trust.
It does. Keep them short, though, maybe 60 to 90 seconds maximum, and make sure they focus on specific outcomes and metrics. And crucially, Feature someone who truly matches your ideal buyer persona.
Someone the prospect can relate to.
Precisely. A marketing automation company, for instance, found that embedding short video testimonials from marketing directors right there on their pricing page increased conversions by 28% compared to just using testimonials alone.
Wow. 28% just from switching to video on the pricing page.
Hmm.
So it's not just what they say, but where you strategically put that testimonial. Placement matters hugely.
Absolutely. You need to position testimonials strategically right where doubt tends to surface.
Like little trust anchors.
Exactly. Put them near pricing tables to address value concerns. Put them beside form fields to reduce submission anxiety. Maybe on confirmation pages to validate the action they just took. Or even adjacent to complex feature explanations to verify usability. Think of them as trust anchors dotted around your page.
Great analogy.
Okay.
Our final pillar. This is all about optimizing that critical last mile of the customer journey and making sure you're measuring what actually matters. This is where so many conversions, after all that hard work up front, can unfortunately just fall apart.
It's true. It's the final hurdle.
So how do you overcome a prospect's fear, that natural hesitation of making the wrong decision right at this stage?
Well, the answer often lies in implementing robust risk reversal tactics. It's about removing, or at least significantly reducing, the perceived downside of saying yes.
Ah, okay, like a money-back guarantee. That's the classic one. But is it just saying money back, or does the phrasing and the type of guarantee matter more?
Oh, it definitely does. The specificity matters much more than just the length or the basic promise.
How so?
Well, think about different types. Time-based guarantees, like a 30-day no questions asked refund, are common. But performance-based ones can be stronger. If you don't see X result within Y days, we'll refund you.
Okay, tied to an outcome.
Exactly. Or conditional guarantees. Complete our onboarding process, and if you're still not satisfied. These are often far more effective because they directly address specific anxieties and show confidence in your process or results. It's about building that final bit of confidence.
That makes sense. What about paid pilots? I've seen those gaining traction, particularly in B2B, as a way to kind of bridge that gap between initial interest and a full commitment.
Yeah, paid pilots are excellent for demonstrating value with minimal risk for both parties involved.
How do you structure those effectively?
You need to define a specific time frame, maybe 30 to 60 days. Establish really clear success metrics that are agreed upon in advance. Set a reduced initial investment, obviously less than the full contract. And critically, create a seamless transition path to full implementation if the pilot is successful.
Make it easy to say yes to the next step.
Precisely. I know a B2B service firm that started using a 30-day paid pilot program. They saw their average sales cycle shortened by 20%, and 85% of those pilots converted into full contracts.
85%. That's fantastic. And huge validation.
Huge. And related to that are performance-based SLAs or service-level agreements, where maybe part of the payment is tied directly to achieving agreed-upon results. That's also incredibly powerful for building trust and reversing risk.
That's a massive win. Shortening the sales cycle and increasing conversions like that. Now, let's talk about building momentum. We hear a lot about creating urgency in marketing, but sometimes, frankly, it feels a little manipulative.
Yeah, it can definitely come across that way.
Like a trick, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Does that high-pressure approach actually work long-term, or are there more authentic ways to build momentum without turning prospects off?
That's a critical distinction, isn't it? The truly effective and ethical momentum builders aren't about fake scarcity. They're based on transparency and delivering real additional value.
Okay, so what would that look like?
Things like genuinely limited implementation slots based on your actual team capacity, or maybe price lock guarantees if they sign within the current quarter, perhaps enhanced onboarding packages for prompt decisions, or even bonus high-value content for quick commitments.
So it's offering a real benefit for deciding sooner, rather than a penalty for waiting.
Exactly. It's ethical because it offers a tangible benefit tied to a prompt decision, not manufactured pressure.
Got it. And the handoff between marketing and sales, oh boy, that's a notorious choke point in so many organizations. I've personally seen deals just stall out right there.
It absolutely is. So many conversions collapse right at that handoff point. The key is creating truly seamless marketing to sales handoffs.
What does seamless look like in practice?
Well, first, sales teams need complete visibility into the prospect's engagement history. What content did they consume? What specific questions did they ask on forums? Which key pages did they visit? Did they attend webinars?
All that context.
All that context, yes.
Right.
It allows for hyper-relevant follow-up. Messaging consistency is also vital marketing, and sales need to use the same terminology, reference the same content, reinforce the same key messages.
No disconnects.
None. And speed. Speed matters immensely for follow-up. Things like automated notifications to sales for high-intent actions, having clear response time standards, ideally within 1 hour for hot leads, and clear ownership are crucial.
An hour. That's fast.
It needs to be for high-intent leads. Think of creating maybe a simple marketing to sales passport document that accompanies each qualified lead, summarizing all that key context.
A lead passport. I like that.
Yeah.
So after implementing all these strategic improvements to the conversion experience, what does this all mean for measuring success? What should we actually be tracking to know if our efforts are paying off?
Right. You need to track the critical bottom-of-funnel metrics. Things like your demo-to-sale conversion percentage, a healthy range, is often somewhere between 20–30%.
Okay.
Your trial-to-paid conversion percentage, maybe 15–25%, is a decent benchmark. Your average sales cycle length, you should aim for maybe 10% below your industry benchmark if you can find it. And your CAC payback period, that's how long it takes to recoup your customer acquisition cost. Ideally, you're looking at 6–12 months. If these key numbers are off, you know exactly where you need to focus your optimization efforts. Is it the demo personalization? Is it the trial onboarding experience? Is it your risk reversal offer? Or maybe even your pricing strategy?
It gives you clear direction.
Exactly. Establish a dashboard with these metrics and make sure you review them regularly, maybe weekly or bi-weekly.
Okay, that's super practical. So
Yeah.
you got the insights now. What next? Let's try and lay out a structured, maybe step-by-step approach to putting all of this into action. This is your bottom funnel optimization plan.
Let's do it. A plan makes it actionable.
All right, weeks 1–2, audit and analyze. Start by really evaluating your current bottom of funnel assets. Look closely at your conversion pages, count every single distraction, analyze your form completion rates, review your core value proposition.
Take inventory.
Take inventory of your proof assets, too. Do you have enough compelling case studies, enough relevant testimonials? Are your demos truly impactful? And review your risk reversal tactics. How do they stack up against competitor offerings?
And maybe create a simple scorecard, Rate each element, say 1 to 5.
Good idea. And prioritize fixing anything that scores below, say, A3.
Right. Focus on the weakest links first. Then, in weeks 3 to 4, redesign conversion pages. Now you focus on that ruthless streamlining we talked about.
Less is more.
Exactly. Create a simplified page template. Remove that site-wide navigation. Emphasize your best social proof clearly above the fold. Rewrite your key messaging using those outcome-focused headlines and benefit statements.
Got it.
And implement those crucial micro-conversions we discussed, like adding a chat widget or maybe a save for later option. My tip here: start with your highest traffic conversion page first and A/B test the redesigned version against your current one. Don't just guess.
Test, test, test. Okay, then weeks 5–6. Enhance proof elements. This is where you really strengthen the evidence you're presenting.
Build that credibility.
Right. Improve your demo process. Implement those pre-demo questionnaires. Train your presenters on true personalization. Focus on the narrative. Expand your testimonial library. Maybe aim for 3 to 5 new video testimonials, really focusing on specific, measurable outcomes.
And develop or refine those interactive proof tools, like tuning your ROI calculator or simplifying your trial onboarding to accelerate that crucial aha moment for new users.
Makes sense. Getting that proof rock solid.
Then, weeks 7 to 8, implement risk reversal and handoff optimization. Now you develop or refine your guarantees and maybe structure those paid pilot programs.
Reducing that final friction.
Exactly. This is also the time to really optimize your marketing to sales handoffs. Create that lead passport template we mentioned. Define clear response time standards for the sales team. Build in those ethical momentum drivers we discussed earlier.
And involve both teams, right?
Absolutely. The best processes involve both marketing and sales teams collaboratively designing that handoff process. Get their buy-in.
Crucial point. Finally, weeks 9–10. Measure and refine. And this part is really ongoing, isn't it? It's not a one-time fix.
Not at all. Continuous improvement.
Create that bottom-of-funnel dashboard to track your key metrics. Implement a continuous testing protocol to keep optimizing. And document your best practices in a shared playbook so everyone's on the same page.
And maybe schedule a regular, say, monthly BOFU review meeting. Get marketing, sales, maybe even customer success in the room together to review performance, share insights, and identify new opportunities for improvement.
Love it. A continuous feedback loop. Okay, to help you start today, listener, here are some high-impact actions you could potentially take right away.
Let's make it concrete.
Okay. This week, audit your single highest traffic conversion page against that element trigger alignment framework we talked about. Identify the biggest gaps right now.
Just one page to start. Keep it manageable.
Within 14 days, try implementing at least one strategic micro-conversion on that main conversion page. Maybe it's a chat button, maybe an exit intent offer.
Small change, potentially big insight.
Within 30 days, create a pre-demo questionnaire and briefing process to start increasing your demo personalization. Get sales involved in crafting it.
Improve those demo close rates.
Within 60 days, develop one new risk reversal tactic. Base it on the single most common objection your sales team currently hears at the end of the cycle.
Ask sales. They know the objections.
And finally, ongoing. Establish that monthly review of your bottom-of-funnel metrics dashboard. Keep your finger on the pulse.
Track, review, refine. That's the cycle. You know, your bottom of funnel assets, they really are what bridge that crucial gap between just interest and actual action. They systematically address those psychological barriers that prevent purchase, building directly on the trust you've hopefully already established through your top and middle funnel efforts.
And when you implement these kinds of strategies consistently, you're not just aiming for higher conversion rates on a dashboard. You're going to see hopefully faster sales cycles.
Definitely.
And you'll welcome more confident customers who arrive at implementation actually ready and excited to succeed.
Which makes everyone's life easier down the line. And remember, bottom of funnel optimization, it isn't really a one-time project you check off a list.
Right, it's never done.
It's never done. It's an ongoing process of continuous refinement. The most successful companies are the ones that consistently test, learn, and improve their conversion assets based on real customer feedback and actual performance data. It's about iterating your way to excellence.
That's a great way to frame it. So here's maybe a final thought for you to mull over as we wrap up. Pick just one element, one idea from everything we've discussed today, and commit to implementing it in the next week or two.
Just start somewhere.
Just start somewhere. Your future customers are out there waiting for you to make their decision just that little bit easier. That's all for this deep dive. We really hope you feel well informed and, maybe more importantly, ready to tackle those conversion rates with some new confidence. Join us next time for another deep dive into what matters most to you. Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're unlocking a strategy, really, for anyone looking to turn their content from just stuff into a real revenue engine. We're diving into how you can actually double conversions by aligning content with buyer stages. You know, it's something we see all the time, this dilemma with B2B companies. They're creating loads of content blogs, social media, emails, but it often feels a bit disconnected, like random acts of marketing.
Exactly. It exists, sure, but it's not effectively moving people from stranger to paying customer.
And that frustration, it usually boils down to one thing, just a lack of real strategic intention behind it all.
It is striking, isn't it, how common that disconnect is between just making content and actually, generating revenue. The answer, the real shift, is building a proper content funnel. And this isn't about making more stuff. It's about turning those scattered assets into a smooth journey, step by step, guiding potential customers towards actually making a purchase. When you build it right, this framework, it's not just about traffic or leads. It's really about revenue, because every single piece of content has a specific job to do in that conversion process.
Right. So our mission today is really to walk you through that, how to map out your content funnel, how to align specific content with each stage of your buyer's journey, and crucially, how to spot and fill those gaps where people are dropping off, basically creating a strategic roadmap that takes prospects from just being aware all the way through to clicking buy.
Yeah.
Now, here's something really interesting, a fundamental shift in B2B. Buyers today, they're not just changing how they decide. They're actively trying to avoid the old-school sales pitch.
Oh, absolutely. The research backs this up starkly. Gartner, LinkedIn Business, they show B2B buyers spend maybe only 17% of their time actually meeting with potential suppliers.
Wow, only 17%.
Yeah, think about that. Up to 90% of their journey is them doing their own digging, their own independent research and evaluation, which just highlights why mapping your content funnel isn't just like a nice to have, it's essential. Buyers are out there consuming content constantly, yours or your competitors. Your job really is to meet them where they are with what they need.
So we know buyers are educating themselves, going on this journey.
Yeah.
But how do we actually structure that path for them? What exactly is a content funnel, fundamentally?
Yeah, good question. At its core, a content funnel is basically a strategic framework. It maps specific kinds of content to each stage of that buyer's journey we mentioned. Think of it like a roadmap, delivering the right info at the right time, answering the questions they have as they move along. And traditionally, we break it down into three main stages, which reflect how the buyer's thinking changes. First, there's awareness, or top-of-funnel tokoyu. This is where they first realize, I might have a problem here that needs fixing.
Okay, just realizing the issue.
Exactly. Then they move into interest or consideration, middle of funnel, MOFU. Here, they're actively looking into solutions, comparing different options.
Exploring possibilities.
Right. And finally, decision or bottom of funnel, BOFU. Now they're focused. They're justifying the choice, looking at risk, getting ready to actually buy.
Listening to that, you might think, okay, awareness, consideration, decision. Sounds pretty linear. But real buyers, they don't move like that, do they?
Not at all. That's a really crucial point. They jump around.
Yeah.
They might revisit awareness content even when they're near a decision. They consume stuff across different channels all at once. Like, imagine a marketing director. She might see a LinkedIn post about workflow issues. That's awareness.
Right.
Clicks through to a blog on automation tools. Okay, now she's an interest. Downloads a guide comparing platforms. That's consideration. Watches a demo, then buys decision. See? It's messy, and this nonlinear path, it creates predictable spots where people just drop off. They leak out of the funnel.
Why does that happen?
Often it's a lack of clarity between the stages, or maybe missing info at a critical moment, or you just haven't answered the new questions that popped into their head. Our job is to find those leaks and plug them. And the most effective way to actually build this funnel isn't starting with, what blog post should we write? It's working backward.
Backward? How so?
Start with your revenue target, your actual business goal. Then reverse engineer what you need at each stage to hit that number. This way, your funnel is directly tied to business outcomes, not just vanity metrics like, page views.
That sounds really practical.
Yeah.
So how does that actually look for a business? What does it mean in practice? Well, imagine you sit down and you actually define your annual revenue target, let's say, whatever it is. Then your average deal size. From that, you know how many new customers you need. Right?
Exactly.
And if you know your typical conversion rate, say from a qualified lead to a customer, boom, you have target for leads.
Precisely. It gives you that quantitative foundation. Let's run some quick numbers just to illustrate. Don't worry about memorizing the figures. Just get the idea. Say your target is $1 million. Average deal is $25K. Okay, you need 40 new customers. Simple math.
Right.
Now, if your sales qualified lead, your sequel, the customer rate is, let's say, 25%, you work back. You need 160 sequels.
Okay, got it.
Keep going. If your marketing qualified lead, MQL, to sequel rate is 20%, well, now you need 800 MQLs. And if, say, your website visitor to MQL rate is 3%, you need about 27,000 visitors.
Wow.
Yeah. But see how that gives you clear targets for each stage. It tells you where to put your effort and how to measure if it's working.
Okay, that makes sense. But before you even start mapping content to those stages, there's a critical step, isn't there? Understanding the buyer themselves.
Absolutely critical. You have to understand how your ideal buyers actually make purchase decisions. This connects your funnel structure to their real psychological journey.
So what do you need to know for each stage?
For each stage, awareness, consideration, decision, you need to nail down 3 things. 1, what's the main question they're asking themselves right then? 2, what's their emotional state? Are they curious, frustrated, skeptical, eager? And 3, what specific information do they need to feel comfortable moving to the next stage?
Okay, let's walk through that. Awareness.
In awareness, the big question is often, do I even have a problem worth solving? Emotionally, maybe they're curious, a bit uncertain, possibly frustrated by something vague. What they need is education about the problem, and maybe some validation seeing that others have this issue too.
Got it. And then interest consideration.
Their question changes. Now it's, okay, what solutions are out there? Which ones might actually work for me? They're evaluating, exploring, comparing. They need info on different approaches, different ways to solve the problem, maybe some criteria for comparison.
Makes sense. And finally, decision.
Here, it's all about justification and risk. How do I sell this internally? How do I make sure this works? They're looking for confirmation, trying to minimize risk, focused on value. They need proof. Case studies, implementation guides, ROI calculators, solid evidence.
Here's a real pro tip. We've seen work wonders. Actually talk to your recent customers. Like, Pick 3 to 5 ideal ones.
Oh, absolutely. Best source of intel.
Ask them what triggered their search. What questions did they have at each point? And this is key, what almost made them not choose you.
Their answers are gold, way better than just guessing internally. And what's fascinating is how your content objectives have to change as people move down this funnel. Each stage needs content with a different purpose, different format, and yeah, different ways of measuring success.
Okay, let's break that down. How does the content align? Let's start with awareness.
Right, awareness. Buyers asking, do I have a problem? Your objective. Educate on the problem, build some initial credibility. Best content. Usually things like blog posts, social media updates, maybe short videos, podcasts, broader stuff.
And KPIs would be things like traffic, social engagement, maybe time on page.
Exactly. Then, interest. Buyer asks, what solutions exist? Your objective now is to present different approaches, build trust in your expertise, think guides, maybe newsletters, webinars, comparison articles a bit deeper.
Okay. And success looks like email signups, content downloads, people coming back.
You got it. Then, consideration. Buyers asking, which option is best for me? Now, your job is to show why your solution is superior, handle objections. This is where case studies shine. Detailed guides, head-to-head product comparisons, testimonials.
And the KPIs get more serious. MQLs, demo requests, free trials.
Right. Finally, decision. Buyer asks, how do I justify this? Objective. Remove that last bit of risk, make it easy to act. Give them demos, ROI calculators, implementation plans, more testimonials.
And success is measured in sequels, actual purchases, and maybe how well onboarding goes. Let's make that concrete. Say that B2B solar equipment provider again.
Good example.
Buyers in consideration.
Right.
They're asking, which solar setup fits my facility best? The provider could offer maybe an interactive calculator. Topic: energy savings. Compare different panel configurations.
Perfect MOFU consideration piece.
And the call to action is clear. Request a personalized assessment. Success metric. How many people use the calculator and request that assessment?
See, it creates a really practical content plan piece by piece.
Okay, but hold on. Before you jump into creating all this amazing new content, there's a step you shouldn't skip, right? Looking at what you already have.
Absolutely. The content audit. It sounds tedious, maybe, but it's crucial. It stops you from reinventing the wheel. And more importantly, it shows you where your biggest gaps are right now.
So how does that work practically?
It's pretty systematic. First, you inventory everything, blogs, guides, videos, the lot. Then you map each piece to a funnel stage based on what it's really trying to do. And finally, you evaluate how well it's actually performing against the goals for that stage. This whole process just shines a light on your gaps. And as you do this audit, you'll probably start noticing common imbalances. Ever feel like you have traffic but no trust? Lots of awareness content, people are visiting, but your middle funnel stuff is weak. They come, they look, they leave because there's nothing deeper to build that trust.
Yeah, I've seen that. Or the opposite.
Right. Trust but no trigger. Solid middle funnel content. People get your approach. They trust you. But your bottom of funnel stuff is missing. You haven't given them the final nudge, the proof points, the easy way to say yes. Or the classic, all blog, no conversion. You're pumping out awareness content like crazy, but you've totally neglected the decision stage assets. You get traffic, but it just doesn't turn into revenue.
So identifying those patterns, that's really powerful. It tells you exactly where to focus your energy next for the biggest revenue impact. You're not just guessing anymore.
Exactly. So once that audit's done, the next step is crystal clear. Identify and prioritize those gaps you found. For each stage, ask yourself, what buyer questions are we not answering? What objections aren't we tackling? What proof is missing? Would a different format work better here?
And how do you decide what to tackle first? There might be lots of gaps.
You can use a simple matrix, actually. It helps bring clarity. For each gap, rate 2 things, say on a 1 to 10 scale. First, the potential impact on conversion if you filled this gap. Second, the difficulty of creating the content to fill it.
Okay. Impact versus difficulty.
Yeah. Then just divide impact by difficulty. So say a gap is no comparison guide versus competitors for consideration. Maybe impact is 8, difficulty is 4. 8 divided by 4 gives a priority score of 2.0. Pretty high. Compare that to maybe lack of industry-specific case studies for decision. Impact might be 9, very high, but difficulty is maybe 7. 9 divided by 7 is about 1.3. Still important, but maybe lower priority than the comparison guide.
Ah, so it helps you find the high-impact year wins first.
Exactly. Focus your resources where they'll make the biggest difference fastest. And this focused approach, it can yield amazing results. There's this case, an online education company,
Yeah.
huge blog traffic, like 50,000 visitors a month, great awareness, but they had zero comparison guides. Zero. They created just a few targeted guides comparing their courses to others, and their free trial conversion rate jumped from 2.3% to 3.8%.
Wow.
In just 90 days, that's a 65% improvement. Just by filling one specific high-impact gap identified through funnel analysis, no need to redo everything.
Okay, so you found the gaps, you prioritize them. Now it's time to actually plan the work, right?
Yeah.
The roadmap.
Yes, the content creation roadmap, making it real. Usually a 90-day plan works well. It's actionable.
What goes into that roadmap?
It's your blueprint. Needs a week-by-week timeline. It has to align with those gap priorities you just said. You need to allocate resources. Who's actually creating what? Define success metrics for each piece. Outline the distribution plan. How will people find it? And this is crucial. For every single piece of content on that roadmap, you need a detailed brief.
A brief? What's in that?
Everything needed to make sure it hits the mark. Its specific funnel purpose, the target persona, their mindset at that stage, key questions it must answer, objections it needs to counter. Critically, what's the next step you want them to take after consuming it? And how will you measure its success, this rigor? It ensures every asset serves its purpose instead of just adding more noise.
Okay, brilliant. We've mapped it, we've planned it,
Yeah.
but the job's not done, is it? How do we know if this meticulously crafted map is actually leading anywhere
It's about measuring.
and optimizing?
Absolutely. It's not set and forget. You need to measure constantly. For each stage, establish your key metrics.
Yep.
What's the primary KPI? What's the conversion rate to the next stage? How long do people typically stay in this stage? And where are they dropping off most often?
So specific metrics for each stage.
What?
Like traffic and engagement at the top.
Right. Downloads and email engagement in the middle, demo requests and win rates at the bottom. You need that visibility. And we strongly recommend a continuous optimization cycle. It's simple, just 4 steps. Analyze. Look at your data. Find the weakest stage. Where's the biggest conversion drop-off? Hypothesize. Why? Brainstorm reasons for that drop-off. What might be missing or unclear? Test. Make targeted changes based on your best guess. Tweak the content, change a CTA, improve the user experience. Measure. Did the change work? Evaluate the impact. Then repeat the cycle. Analyze, hypothesize, test, measure.
Okay, give me an example. Let's say conversions from middle to bottom are low.
Right. So you analyze, see a drop-off there. You hypothesize. Maybe people need more social proof before requesting a demo. They're interested but hesitant.
Makes sense.
So you test, add some powerful customer testimonials right there in the product pages near the demo request button. Then you measure, did demo request rates go up after you added the testimonials? It's systematic, it's data-driven, you're constantly improving based on reality, not just assumptions.
Okay, this is great.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The most sophisticated funnels, they don't just stop when someone buys, do they?
No way. That's thinking too small. The best approach extends into a full revenue flywheel. It includes crucial post-purchase stages, onboarding, adoption, expansion, advocacy.
A flywheel, so it feeds itself.
Exactly. It creates this self-reinforcing system. Happy, successful customers become your best source of new prospects, feeding right back into the top of the funnel.
Okay, break those post-purchase stages down quickly.
Sure. Onboarding. Content here is all about successful implementation. Think setup guides, quick start tutorials, metric.implementation completion rate. Then adoption. Drive regular use, make sure they get value. Feature guides, training videos, metric.feature adoption rates. Next, expansion. Find growth opportunities in existing accounts. Show advanced use cases, ROI calculators for upgrades, metric.expansion revenue.
Right.
And finally, advocacy. Turn happy customers into promoters, referral programs, case study requests, metrics.referrals generated, net promoter score.
Wow. So if you connect that all together, it really transforms the whole thing. It's not just a linear path to a sale anymore.
Precisely. It becomes a sustainable growth engine. Customer success isn't just a nice-to-have department. It directly fuels new customer acquisition. It's a virtuous cycle.
So it's clear, your content funnel isn't some static document you create once. It's alive. It has to evolve with your business, your market, your customers. But this mapping process, it lays the groundwork for being truly strategic about content, tying it directly to revenue. So here's a quick action plan, something you can actually start doing today. Sketch out your first funnel map, just the stages, the main buyer questions, maybe some initial content ideas.
This gets started.
This week, do a quick audit. Look at maybe your 10 most important content pieces. Where do they fit? What job are they doing?
Be honest.
Next week, Identify your top 3 content gaps, the ones that seem most critical based on your funnel sketch and mini audit. Write those detailed briefs we talked about.
Get specific.
Within 30 days, build a simple dashboard. Start tracking those key funnel metrics you identified.
You know what's really fascinating here, when you boil it all down, the difference between content that just sits there and content that actually converts. It's entirely about the strategic intention behind it, that funnel map. It's not just another document to file away. It's the tool that turns those random marketing activities into a systematic, predictable revenue engine. So the real question is, what's the one specific action you will take today to start sharpening your content strategy and doubling those conversions? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into something really foundational if you're serious about scaling a business. It's called Inside the Funnel Mapping Process of Scalable Brands. Ever looked at a really successful company and just wondered how? How do they consistently turn someone who, like, barely knows they have a problem into a happy, paying customer? Well, this deep dive is basically your roadmap for that. We're going to explore how you can transform, what often feels like scattered marketing activities into this powerful, predictable revenue engine. Get ready for some insights. They might just change how you think about growth.
It's so true. What we're about to unpack, it isn't guesswork or, random marketing stunts. Not at all.
Yeah.
This is really about establishing a highly strategic, measurable, and importantly, repeatable process for consistent business expansion. Understanding this whole end-to-end journey is just invaluable. Whether you're starting out or trying to optimize something already complex, it's about being deliberate, really deliberate with every single interaction.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, but maybe not where people expect. A lot of folks think you start by picking channels, right?
Yeah.
Social media, ads. But the absolute first step in building a really robust marketing funnel, it actually involves looking backward. You've got to define your revenue targets first, like really define them. And then you calculate exactly how many new customers you actually need to acquire to hit those maybe ambitious goals. So why is starting with the end in mind so critical here, instead of just, jumping into creating content?
Yeah, that's a crucial question because that initial calculation is not just some accounting thing. It connects your marketing directly, really directly, to the core business strategy. Without a clear numerical target, like, say, we need X customers for Y revenue,
Sure.
your content, your campaigns, they just risk becoming disconnected, floating out there. You end up creating a lot of stuff, right? But you don't know if it's actually driving the business forward. So doing that calculation first gives every single step after that its purpose, a clear finish line to aim for.
Right. Okay, so once you have that North Star number, then you start mapping the journey those customers will take. We often talk about the key stages, the buyer's journey stages. Top of funnel TOFU, middle funnel MOFU, and bottom of funnel BOFU. So TOFU is about awareness, yeah, someone realizing they have a problem. MOFU is consideration, they're exploring solutions. And BOFU, well, that's the decision stage, they're ready to choose. Now, when you've defined those stages, what's a common mistake companies make, like in tracking progress, and how do they avoid it?
Well, what's often overlooked, or maybe just not defined rigorously enough, is setting up primary key performance indicators, KPIs, for each of those specific stages. A lot of companies track, say, overall website traffic, but they don't get specific about what success looks like at each stage, which is key. So for TOFU, you're looking at things like unique visitors or maybe social reach, pretty broad. For MOFU, it's more about lead generation metrics, so think email signups, maybe white paper downloads, perhaps even webinar registrations. And then at BOFU, it's the direct conversions, demo requests, free trial signups, or actual purchases. These specific stage-aligned metrics are just absolutely crucial. They're how you pinpoint where your funnel might be leaking or people are dropping off. Without them, you're basically just guessing where the problem is.
And while you're mapping these stages and setting those KPIs, you also need to build out your ideal customer profile, your ICP. Now, for anyone thinking this just means basic demographics like companies over $10 million revenue, why is it so vital to dig deeper than that?
Good point. It's because an ICP isn't just about who can buy from you. It's really about who should buy from you. It defines the characteristics of those organizations that, one, gain the most value from your solution, but also, importantly, provide the most value back to your business. Think higher retention, more referrals, maybe lower support costs, things like that, because attracting the wrong audience, even if they convert initially, oh man, it can be incredibly expensive down the line. So it's about attracting the right fit, the ones who become real long-term partners.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay, so you have that foundation. Revenue goals, funnel stages, KPIs, ICP. Now here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. You need to truly understand the people within those ideal customer profiles, which means digging deep into developing detailed buyer personas. So beyond just making assumptions, how can we actually start building these personas with, like, real hard data?
Right, assumptions are dangerous here. The most powerful way to start is often leveraging your existing data, your CRM, your marketing automation systems. You can spot patterns in your best clients, your high-value clients. What are their typical journey paths? How long do they spend in each stage? What specific content did they engage with? Sales cycle lengths. But then the insights you get from that data, they're just profoundly amplified by doing direct customer interviews. Seriously, sit down with your existing customers. The successful ones, yes, but also the ones who churned, maybe even prospects who went with a competitor. Ask them things like, what specifically triggered their search? What alternatives did they look at? Any deal breakers they hit? And crucially, how do they measure success inside their own company? This stuff reveals their authentic motivations, their real pain points. It's gold for your messaging.
And it sounds like we shouldn't stop just at interviews. What other, maybe overlooked data sources can really flesh out these personas?
Oh, absolutely. Think about sales call recordings. Those are absolute gold mines for unfiltered language. You hear objections straight from the horse's mouth. Support tickets, too. They can reveal recurring pain points, maybe frustrations after the purchase, even customer reviews on sites like G2 or Capterra, or just comments on social media that provide really unvarnished opinions, satisfaction drivers. All these insights help you speak to real problems and desires using your prospect's own words. That builds rapport and trust incredibly fast.
Okay, so you've gathered all this amazing data. What's the practical output? Are we just making a list of traits, or is it deeper? Is there, like, psychological profiling involved?
Yeah, the goal is definitely deeper. You want to create maybe 2 to 5 detailed personas, each with a real psychological profile. This goes way beyond just job title or industry, though you include that too. You need to document what each persona sees. So market trends, what their peers are up to, new tech. You detail what they think, their core beliefs, their assumptions about your industry, about their challenges, their career goals even. Then, what they feel, their fears, aspirations, daily frustrations. And finally, what they do, their day-to-day tasks, their decision process, how they evaluate solutions, who they talk to. This whole process, it transforms these flat profiles into like three-dimensional people you can actually empathize with and it effectively market to.
Right. So, yes, include the basic demographic info, job title, industry, sure. But the key takeaway is, don't stop there. That's just the starting point, not the whole picture.
Exactly. And this raises an important question. Once you have these deep psychological profiles, how do you make sure your content actually resonates? This is where you identify each persona's jobs to be done, JTBD. It's not about the product they buy. It's about the progress they're trying to make in a specific situation. For instance, someone doesn't just buy accounting software, right? They might be hiring that software to, say, get their finances organized so they feel less stressed at tax time. When you understand that underlying job they're trying to hire your solution for, it totally shifts your content focus away from just listing features towards articulating the desired outcomes, actual solutions to their life or business problems. It's about helping them achieve their goals, not just buying your thing.
Okay, brilliant. So with those detailed personas and their jobs to be done clearly defined, now we can finally move to crafting the actual content for each funnel stage. Let's start right at the top. Top of funnel, TOFU. This is all about developing that problem-aware content. Stuff that grabs attention but doesn't immediately pitch your solution. The goal is really to stop the scroll, right? Make someone pause, think about a problem maybe they didn't even fully realize they had, and teach them why it matters. What's a smart framework for approaching this TOFU content?
Yeah, for TOFU, a useful framework we often talk about is teach, tease, transfer. First, you teach. Give immediate, valuable insights anyone can use, like a simple tip, a surprising stat. Build credibility instantly. Then you tease. You subtly hint at deeper applications or the bigger context of the problem. Creates curiosity. For example, maybe a blog post starts with X surprising reasons your sales forecasts are always off, that it teases, and will show you how to fix it by rethinking your whole pipeline approach. Finally, you transfer the reader towards your specific approach or solution, usually with what we call a bridge call to action or CTA. This structure delivers value up front, but also gently guides them to that next step, maybe an offer for a more in-depth guide or checklist.
And matching the content format to where people actually find information is crucial too, isn't it? Like if they're actively searching on Google, maybe SEO-driven blog posts or long guides make sense. But if they're scrolling social media, perhaps shorter, engaging carousels or quick explainer videos are better. It's respecting how busy people actually consume content. And these assets, they should always include those bridge CTAs, right? Things that subtly lead to middle funnel assets, like offering a content upgrade, say an expanded checklist from the blog post that gets them to subscribe, pulls them deeper into your world. Okay, moving on down to the middle of funnel, MOFU. This is where you really focus on building trust and establishing authority. You do this by creating these value-packed lead magnets that also kind of cleverly pre-qualify prospects. Think comprehensive ebooks, maybe customizable templates, interactive calculators, or those diagnostic assessment tools. They give immediate value, but they also naturally filter for people genuinely interested in your type of solution without being overly salesy.
And a fantastic way, often underused, I think, to build that authority and trust in MOU is designing live experiences. Things like webinars, maybe virtual workshops, expert panel discussions. They let you showcase your expertise through real-time interaction. These formats can really accelerate trust. There's an authenticity there, social proof too, especially when attendees see peers asking similar questions and getting live answers. You also want to implement strategic email sequences here using behavioral branching, which basically means if someone clicks a specific link or watches a certain bit of your webinar recording, they automatically get a follow-up email tailored to that interest. While someone who just opened the initial email gets something more general, it customizes the journey based on their actions. Super powerful. And critically important, proactively address those common objections you found from your sales calls and interviews. If you know what concerns people have, create MOU content, maybe comparison guides, maybe ROI discussions that educates them, and use proof points to diminish that resistance before they even talk to sales.
Right, heading off objections early. Makes sense. Okay, finally we arrive at the bottom of funnel, BOFU. This is all about conversion, getting that final yes. Here, the focus shifts to designing really friction-free conversion pages. Landing pages with crystal clear headline promises, strong emotional benefits, concise value points, and usually just a single unmissable call to action. You want to strip away navigation, any other distractions, just keep the visitor laser focused on that next crucial step, booking the demo, starting the trial, whatever it is.
Exactly. And at this final stage, strategic proof elements become absolutely paramount. Non-negotiable, really. You need compelling customer testimonials, ideally with names and faces. In-depth case studies showing quantifiable results, maybe interactive ROI calculators. High-impact product demos, frictionless free trials. These all provide tangible evidence that your solution actually delivers on its promise. And the key is placing these proof elements strategically right where doubt might creep in, maybe near the pricing or next to a complex feature description. And then to really seal a deal, think about risk reversal tactics. Things like money-back guarantees, maybe paid pilots with an easy opt-out, or even performance-based service-level agreements, SLAs. These tap into loss aversion psychology. Basically, people hate losing something more than they like gaining something new. So by removing that perceived risk of making a bad investment, you can turn hesitation into decisive action.
And one last piece for BOFU, but it's incredibly important. Creating seamless marketing to sales handoffs. You need to ensure your sales team can easily see the prospect's entire engagement history. What pages did they visit? What emails did they open? Which lead magnets did they download? That shared context, combined with really consistent messaging between all your marketing stuff and those crucial sales conversations, it dramatically reduces decision fatigue for the prospect and builds confidence right at the finish line. Okay, so we've covered a lot about crafting the perfect content for each stage, but what does this all mean when it comes to actually getting that amazing content out there effectively and measuring if it's even working? First off, it means integrating those detailed personas and their specific objections directly into your content brief. So you're not just writing a blog post, you're writing for Jane, the marketing director, specifically addressing her fear about falling behind on automation, for example.
Precisely. And then you align your distribution channels to the funnel stages. Makes sense, right? Awareness content, your TOU stuff. Match that with casual browsing channels, social media feeds, organic search results, maybe broad display ads. But decision stage content, your BOFU assets, that should be pushed through channels where active buyers are doing serious research. Think targeted email sequences to warm leads, retargeting campaigns for recent website visitors, maybe highly specific paid search campaigns for high-intent keywords. This just ensures your content reaches prospects in the right context exactly when they're most receptive to it.
And to make sure things don't fall through the cracks, maybe develop a 48-hour amplification SOP, a standard operating procedure. Basically, a checklist ensuring all relevant channels are activated within, say, 48 hours of publishing a significant new piece of content. So a new blog post isn't just sitting there passively, it's immediately shared on LinkedIn, it's queued up for the newsletter, maybe gets a small ad boost. And for really precise attribution, knowing what actually works, implement proper UTM parameters on all your links. This tracking reveals which specific distribution methods are driving not just clicks or visits, but actual conversions down the funnel. It lets you focus your time and budget on what truly delivers the right audience and ultimately revenue. It's like putting a unique fingerprint on every link.
Yeah. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, this whole funnel mapping thing, it's really a continuous cycle, measurement and optimization. It never really stops. You should schedule regular persona reviews, maybe quarterly, to update them based on new customer insights, shifts you see in the market, feedback from your sales and customer success teams. Because your personas aren't static documents, right? They evolve as your market evolves, as your product evolves.
And to keep a clear view of performance, build a dashboard, one that connects your leading indicators, things like demo registrations, qualified lead volume, with your lagging indicators, like closed revenue. This helps you validate if your content is effective and maybe even helps predict future performance. You might see, for example, that a spike in webinar signups now consistently leads to a sales increase 3 months later. That's powerful info.
And if you do find your funnel is leaking or a stage is underperforming, a good way to diagnose and prioritize fixes is using the ICE framework. It stands for Impact, Confidence, and Ease. You score potential fixes, say, on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of those. How big is the potential impact? How confident are you it will work? How easy is it to implement? Then you multiply the scores. So fixing a broken button might be high impact 10, high confidence 10, high ease 10. That's 1,000 points. But say redesigning the entire website homepage might be high impact 10, but maybe lower confidence is the right fix 3, and definitely low ease 2. That's only 60 points. This simple method helps prevent wasting resources on low-impact changes, no matter how easy they seem. It forces you to prioritize strategically based on what will move the needle most efficiently.
Love that IC score. Okay, and the final actionable step in this whole optimization cycle. Create a 90-day funnel momentum plan. Identify your weakest funnel stage using your dashboards, maybe that ICE analysis. Set SMART objective-specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound for improving it. Plan specific experiments or content initiatives to address the gaps you've identified. And then, crucially, schedule maybe bi-weekly check-ins. Celebrate the quick wins, adjust your tactics based on the real results you're seeing. This creates a really powerful rhythm of continuous improvement for your funnel. So wow, what we've really walked through today is this systematic process, funnel mapping for scalable brands. It's a comprehensive journey, isn't it? From defining revenue goals and truly understanding your ideal customer, to crafting specific content for every single stage of their decision process. And then strategically distributing and constantly optimizing that content. This isn't just theory, it's a clear structure, a framework for transforming what might feel like random marketing acts into a cohesive, predictable, and ultimately revenue-generating pathway for your business.
Exactly. That's the goal. This deep dive hopefully provides you with that clear roadmap. It shows you how to move from just having scattered content pieces to building a truly integrated system, one that guides prospects efficiently toward becoming customers. And remember, knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when it's understood and, even more importantly, when it's actually applied strategically.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up today, here's something to think about. Consider how often you, as a consumer, navigate through content online without ever fully realizing you're being guided through a carefully constructed journey. Every ad you see, every blog post you read, every email you open, they're often designed quite deliberately to move you along a specific path. What if you started to consciously see every piece of marketing you encounter not just as an ad, but as a deliberate step in someone's intended path? How might that change the way you interact with the world online? Or maybe even how you think about building your own path for others to follow? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.